If we're not doing the most important activity every single day, our business suffers. Let's get to it. Ready? Hey, welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Today, I'm talking to you about how can you create a massive breakthrough in the number of appointments you're booking today so your business goes through the roof in the spring market. So I wrote down for you 3 things. The number one thing, this is what I know. I call it the power of right focus. We've all heard before that whatever you focus on expands, gets bigger. So what does that mean? If you're focusing on the drama in your life, it gets bigger. If you focus on getting organized, I've got to move the books from this side to that side and I got to get everything ready. And then you spend all of your time getting organized and you never make a phone call. And then you go to lunch and then your day is over. Whatever you focus on expands. So if I was sitting with you face to face, I'd literally show you this bullseye and I would say, which one of these is taking up your mind space? We know with the farthest outer rim, it's distractions, it's drama, it's personal issues. I hope they're not happening to you. And be really clear, if that's what's taking up all of your time, your days, your weeks, your months, guess what happens? You're not doing deals, you're not making money. And if you think the problems are hard now, try them without money. You with me on this? So we got to spend a little more time focusing on what matters. The other mistake that a lot of people make is they spend their time focusing on exactly as I just mentioned, getting organized. I hear it all the time. You've been there before. Okay, I'm going in on Monday. I'm going to make up my list of all the things I need to do. And isn't it funny when you make up that list of things to do, how infrequently on there, follow up with all my prospects, make all my calls, reach out to some new customers. No, it's always like, okay, I need to redo this. I want to reorganize that. I want to get this done. I need to get my car cleaned. I need to, go through my database and figure this out. I need to get an email out. It's all these projects. And listen, I'm not saying those projects aren't important, but here's what I know. You and I, we're in the sales business. If we're not doing the most important activity every single day, our business suffers. Let's get to it. Ready? Distractions and drama, that's on the outside. Getting organized, I get it, but we know that's not going to work. Eventually, someone's going to walk by you and say, hey, you're in sales. Make some calls, right? Talk to some people, knock on some doors, do whatever. But here's what I know. If I focus on making calls, you know what I get? Calls. If I focus on making calls, I get calls. I get chicken scratches on a piece of paper. I did 5, I did 10. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we want. That's not the power of right focus. The next inner circle is, of course, leads. And all of a sudden, man, when you get a lead, aren't you excited? Oh, look what I got, man. This person wants to buy a house. This is so awesome. I got a prospect. They want to invest in all this stuff. And the challenge is, my friends, leads do not pay your bills. You can't get too excited about the leads. You and I both know when you look at the funnel, you got to have a lot of people that are really interested. But leads don't pay the bills. What moves the needle? It's the second one closest to where we all want to be. Let's be clear. The inner circle is signed contracts. It's agreements. It's getting you one step closer to helping somebody close a deal and you getting paid. But where do you get those? It's appointments, my friends. So let me ask you this. If I were to look back at your schedule for the last 30 to 45 days, where would I see in your calendar your appointment setting time? How many hours would I see in your calendar appointment setting time versus all the other projects and the minutia that gobble up all of your time and stop you from earning a fortune? If I told you the number of people I've worked with personally, literally that are on the top, the first time we published the top 100 agents in the world, right, with Lore Magazine and the Wall Street Journal and those guys, we were coaching a whole bunch of people on that list, and every single one of them, if you said to them, what is the most important thing Tom Ferry has taught you? They would say, I focus on getting appointments every single day because the more appointments I go on, the more people I'm able to help, the more people sign contracts, and the more transactions and revenue I generate. It's that simple. Do yourself a simple audit. Go back through your calendar. Get honest with yourself. If you don't see it in your schedule, it doesn't exist, you're not getting it done, and the breakthrough is not going to happen. So what's the very first most important thing? You want to have a breakthrough in booking more appointments? It's awareness. What is taking up all of your mind space? Where are you putting your focus? That's number one. Number two, very tactical. You need to organize your day around booking appointments and going on appointments. booking appointments and going on appointments. Yes, I mean literally grabbing your calendar. Here's what we know. Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 and from 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 and 4 to 6 are proven to be the most optimal times to get on the phone, call your database, call new prospects, do your follow-up from 9 to 11 and from 4 to 6. If that was in your calendar and every day you were able to do 1.5 of that, one full session in the morning and maybe a little half-hour session in the afternoon, you're doing that every single day. You're like the old line, sort of metaphorically, you're shaking the tree. Somewhere an apple's gonna fall. Somewhere an appointment's gonna fall from the sky. You've experienced it, I've experienced it. We make our calls, we don't get any immediate results that day, and then ding, our email opens up. Hey, here's a lead, somebody that just got referred to me. Like, that's the way it works. But you gotta shake the tree. If it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. You with me? That means you're gonna go through Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, 4 to 6, in your calendar, but that's the first part. The second part is, how many appointments do you wanna go on every day? It may sound old school to you, but you know what I've discovered? That if I say, okay, from 11 o'clock until 4 o'clock, I can do 3 appointments and have a light lunch somewhere in the middle, and I literally carve out appointment 1, appointment 2, appointment 3. Now, do buyers and sellers and prospects always say, hey, do you have an opening between 11 o'clock and 4 o'clock? No, you might have to do some of these appointments after 6 o'clock. You might have to do some of these appointments on Saturdays and Sundays. But here's my point. If you take responsibility for your calendar and you fill in the 9 to 11 and the 4 to 6, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna find a ton of people that wanna meet with you at 11:30, at 12 o'clock, at 1:30, all the way up until 4 o'clock. Your job every day is to book appointments and go on appointments. That's how you create a massive breakthrough. Now, I know you might be saying, but Tom, what about all the other stuff? Does any of the other stuff make you any money? I want you showing property, meeting with clients, going on coffee meetings, going on listing appointments. I want you doing the stuff that gets you to the bullseye. Remember? Appointments and sign contracts. That's the game. The last thing I wrote down, very simple. If you don't ask, they're not gonna readily say, hey, should we get together and meet? Your job as a sales professional is to ask for the appointment. Now, I'm not saying you need to close 93 different ways and handle 500 objections. There's probably only 2 or 3. Time, gotta talk to my spouse, not sure if now is the right time. All that stuff you can handle, right? That's all basic. But most people don't even get to the objection because they don't ask. So I wrote down, what if you just said, hey, sounds like we should get together. What's better for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4? I mean, based on all the things we're discussing here, Sean, sounds like we should get together. What's better for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4, Thursday or Friday, weekends or afternoons, mornings or evenings, as long as it's not during the 9 to 11 and 4 to 6. Does that make sense? Or something as simple as, look, I'd love to help you guys. Let's schedule an appointment. I'd love to help you guys. Let's schedule an appointment. It doesn't have to be some crazy close. It could be soft and simple and yet direct. So, let's recap before I give you an assignment. I know going into the spring market, you want to have a breakthrough. You deserve more business. You're sick and tired of maybe the lack of income that's coming in. Even though you're making money, you know that more is available. And I want to help you get it. So we need to put the blinders on and focus on what matters. Get the blinders on and focus on how many appointments can I book every day and how much time can I allocate to that Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, 4 to 6. How many appointments can I book? Let's get focused on that just for 30 to 45 days. The second thing is, if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. And the third thing is, you gotta start asking for it. Does that make sense? The leads are not gonna suddenly say, gosh, we should get together, come on over, right? You have got to be responsible to make that happen. So here's my challenge for the next 30 to 45 days. I wrote down number 1, set a goal and get it up in visual. Hey, the most appointments I've ever gone on in 30 days was 8. Let's try and go on 25 in 1 month. Let's try and go on 30 in 1 month. What's the worst thing that could happen? You go on 27 and you recognize your greatness. You see how good you are, that when you finally get focused, anything is possible. Wouldn't that be great? Right? That's what I want to do. So that's number 1, got to set a goal. Number 2, obviously you've heard me say it 4 times now, I'm going to get it in my schedule. Number 3, I want to track every one of the appointments. But here's the hook. I booked the appointment. What questions did they ask? What were their concerns? What were their time frame? I want to start assessing, like, what am I learning from these appointments so I can use that later on in marketing in my presentation. So I want to track and measure, what am I learning from this? I think of one of my clients who used to say, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've been on 87 listing presentations in the last 12 months. And at the end of every appointment, I would sit in my car and I would think about, what were the questions they asked? What were their concerns? What were their worries? What were their expectations? And I would write for 10 or 15 minutes after every single one of those appointments. And you know what I discovered reflecting back over the last 12 months? There were only 7 things that mattered to every one of my customers. Would you like me to share those with you? Bam! Like, that would be really powerful. So we set the big goal, we organize it, and we want to track. What did we learn? What worked? What could we do better? What were they concerned about? What were their considerations? I really want to get that. And then the last one, number 4, is when you get to the goal, celebrate. Yes, call your family, call your friends, get your puppy, whatever you want to do. But when you go out and you go from maybe going on 5 or 6 appointments in a month to doing 25, you need to go celebrate and congratulate yourself for having a breakthrough, because that's what you're going to do. So, very simple, short show. Give me some comments. And by the way, you might want to share this with a few friends, because if you can create some camaraderie and some competition amongst other people that you know around the industry or even in your office, that can help you create a breakthrough as well. Can't wait to read your comments. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember, your strategy matters. And now more than ever, you're able to focus on what matters and book more appointments. That's what rules.